Hello, I'm Lisa from Lincolnshire Weddings. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first Instagram live, so I'm just going to wait to see who comes on. Oh my goodness, hello everyone. There's quite a few popping on, thank you. Hi Nikki, hello everyone. So this is our first Instagram live, would you believe? I've got away with not doing this for so long. It's all a part of our Meet Our Members series. After doing this role within my business for such a long time now, and especially with Amy Lauren Weddings, who you're about to meet, it's been over 2 years, hasn't it, Amy? Oh, thank you. As somebody said, I look beautiful. That's made me feel relaxed already. So with building these relationships up for such a long time and sharing their work, it just becomes so personal to me that they've put all this effort in, and we need to showcase them as much as possible. So this is what this Meet Our Members series is all about. And it's special to me that Amy is the first one, because I have seen her grow and grow and grow over the last few years. So I'm going to invite her in. This is the first time doing this, so bear with me. Here she is. Ooh. Gosh, there's loads of you. So we're just waiting for Amy to connect through. Hi! Can you hear us, Amy?
I can. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. My internet's a little bit.
Can you hear me, Amy?
Interested. Just 1 second. I'm going to.
This is the thing. Yeah, we are on load, but it seems to be ironing itself out a little bit. So that's brilliant.
Real. That's great.
So, for anyone who, surely everyone must know you by now, but if anyone's watching who doesn't, give me an intro to the amazing Amy Lauren Weddings.
Oh God, blooming heck. Do you know what? I'm never nervous. I'm never ever nervous at all. Whenever I do any of these, tonight I was a bit like, oh, I think I best have a little research of what I'm actually going to talk about. Today I felt quite.
Maybe it's nerves coming through classically to you.
Normal. Like I'm literally like I've got no. Like, what's wrong with me?
You haven't brought that many notes to our meetings before, Amy.
Never have any sort of notes. I never have anything planned. I just kind of just go with the flow. But tonight I was a bit like, oh, I feel like the pressure's on. So anyway, yeah. So Amy from Amy Lauren Weddings, thank you so much for the blog. Love it. It's fantastic.
Do you like it?
Yeah, really lovely, really lovely. It's just made me so super excited because obviously I'm having my website done at the moment, having a little bit of a rejig and a refreshen, and obviously Stoken and Designs, they've been Stoken Development, sorry, they've been actually doing it for me, so I'm very excited. And I think the blog made me be like, oh, I'm even more excited because you showcased one of the videos that's actually going to be as a feature within the website as well. So
you should just do that video for me. I'm disappointed now.
There's a few of them. I have got a number of those little videos that will be on the website. So so it's good. Just more of a bit of an interaction of who I am and more of an explanation. So obviously we're Amy Lauren Weddings, and basically it'll be my 11th year this year having my business, which is amazing. Now, I didn't celebrate last year. I think I was a bit too busy and I kind of like just got a bit lost really and just didn't. I should have. So
yes,
I'm saying that it's been a bit of a write-off. I'm just going to pretend it's my 10-year and just do a 10-year anniversary party this year, I think. So yeah, so that's in August. So I'm very excited.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I mean, I've joined you. A memory came up, and I think we're heading into our third year, which is
Mm.
incredible. And it just highlights to me, you know, how much I've watched your business grow within those years. And it's just been amazing to watch. Absolutely incredible. You're working with some beautiful venues and lots of couples. You must be ecstatic with how your business is going.
Yeah, I am. It's been very exciting, and obviously, for me, I always wanted it to be a kind of like I've got two children, 5 and 7, which I know I talk about a lot. And for me, it was very central to make sure that I was their prime focus whilst they was little. And obviously, since they have grown up and now both at school, my life has been able to develop that little bit extra, which is always something that I know was going to happen. But yeah, it's been fantastic. And I think the mental thing for me is that I wish I could say, oh, I've done this and I've done that, and this is how I got it, but I really have no answer for what I actually did. I, I was very fortunate in the situation that things have just very much come to me, which is not what happens most of the time in life. And obviously, I was introduced to lots of different people. And basically that's how things have just grown and progressed, and it's been fantastic. And yeah, so obviously I work collaborate with the Serendipity Weddings and Events at the Priory, which is just love it. We obviously relaunched that a few weeks ago, well, probably about 5 weeks ago now, which is great, and that's all sort of part of the Serendipity initiative as well. And which is fantastic. And the Priory is just really unique and special, and such an incredible place, and holds it really very dearly in my heart. And then also with Leadenham Estate as well, which I only actually met William in September, which nobody can actually believe. Neither can I really.
You're like brother and sister.
Oh God, don't say that. Like, I know. Yeah, we just sort of know, we just sort of share the same sort of banter, I think, and the same sort of mindset. So yeah, a few people have said about brother and sister, but we think that we're related anyway, because my maiden name is Reeve, and obviously his is William Reeve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we both, well, his family came from Melton Mowbray, and I've got connections in the family from Melton Mowbray, and we've both got family names that are actually identical. So we will see.
Now, you said just a moment ago that you don't know how this business has come to you. I can tell you it's your personality, because everyone who meets you just falls in love with you. And it's the truth. It is definitely the truth. And one thing that really comes across is how much you love your job, and how much meeting those couples and suppliers means to you. So I've got one question, because I would love to delve into the back of wedding planning. If you think about your job and think of that one magical moment that you witnessed with a couple, and you think, this is why I'm doing this job, this is what I love, what would be the best moment for you?
You know what, it's going to be really hilarious, and it's not actually a best moment, but it is actually when I realised that I actually wanted to be a wedding planner. I was 15 and I was working at the Haber Hotel. I don't know if you remember that, many moons ago. It's not actually open anymore. And my parents live in Haber, and it was my Saturday job, and I did every wedding. I was there every Saturday. And Annette, who was the manager, knew that I was so passionate about it, and I was there every single weekend. I used to go in early just so that I could be part of that life. And I remember I spilled a glass of champagne over the bride, and just dropped the whole thing. right all over her. And she was so nice. She was so nice, and she was so lovely. Even though I was horrendously embarrassed. I was 15, and I remember just thinking, "Oh, I'm going to back, or she's going to go crazy. What the hell?" And she was so lovely, and she just sort of said, "Thank you." You know, she just thanked me for thanking and going, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And it was right there and then that I thought, you know what, like, it's stupid, but I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do forever. And do you know, she was not my first bride at all that I worked with. Obviously, I worked with a number of different brides whilst I was obviously just waitressing. But she was, after that, I became so much more involved and actually would take on more of a management sort of side within the hotel and within the aspects. And after that day, and I thought, well, you know what, if that's gone wrong, nothing else can possibly go wrong that's worse than that. Things have gone wrong that are worse than that, which has been a very good insight, and it's just given me a lot of contingency plan making. But yeah, no, that was the moment that I realised that I wanted to do what I do, and I was 15 and I've never looked back. And even though people have gone, no, don't be so silly, I've been like, no, this is what I'm doing.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So,
now, you talk so much about brides and grooms really knowing their style and owning it.
yeah.
How important is that in the whole planning process?
I think it's the most important thing. I really do. And I think for me, it's, I think style and the theme is key. And if you have a specific style and theme that you actually want to work off and actually want to work to, in before you've even booked your date and booked your venue, if you know that that's what you want to do, the most important thing is to be able to capture a venue and to actually find a venue that enables you to be able to carry out that theme and that style. And the venue is an incredibly important backdrop to the day. And I think some people fall in love with somewhere because of location or because of grounds or something. But one of the key aspects that I advise all my couples is to make sure that actually when you go to a venue, you fall in love with the inside of it as well and fall in love with every aspect, because that yellow carpet is going to be there on your wedding day. That horrendous red curtain is going to be there. And if you don't want that, it's best to not even to completely look somewhere else, because I just feel that time and time again I've gone to different weddings where things have clashed and I've only been involved in the end of it, and it's been a bit awkward. And I think if they'd actually thought, right, this is what I want to achieve, this is the day that I want, and then when they actually source the venue, they're able to kind of stop and think, that's not going to match my theme, that's not going to be how I want it to be. And then they're able to find a venue that actually suits that style and theme. And I think styling of a day is paramount, because it adds to everything. A lot of people worry about not having enough going on, and actually little is most of the time a lot more. And everyone says that, don't they, about minimalistic, about being actually minimalized is actually so much more powerful than so many other things. I love Amy from Jack Loves Jill. She's got to be one of my all-time inspirations, and obviously there's so many venue stylists out there that I adore, but Amy actually made me just look at wedding design in a whole new way. And she's just so talented, and she, I think, appreciates every single little detail. And when I speak to couples, it's what I try and pretend that I'm Amy from Jack Loves Jill and try and add those little things.
I was just about to say, because you work in a very similar way to Amy, where getting to know your couples is key, spending that time together, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's about knowing people's personality and knowing about what they want to have from their day. And budget's a hugely important thing as well for lots of couples. And there are lots of ways in order to save money. And that in itself is something that I really like to try and to advocate to people is when they're concerned about the styling costing an incredible amount of money, and there's different ways they can save money, and reusing things. And so if they have flowers in one room, it's just reusing those flowers into another room, and going from obviously the drinks reception into the dining, to be able to reuse different aspects and different things. And instead of gifting bouquets as gift to parents, is actually gifting the centerpieces instead. If you have things that are more yours and tangible, you can gift each centerpiece to your parents or grandparents, and then you're kind of saving on money.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's just something. It's just lots of different ways in which to kind of combat the financial pressures as well, and particularly obviously with everything that's been happening recently with COVID, people are there's a lot of people are tightening their belt, but a lot of people are actually thinking, do you know what, we've got an extra year to actually save for what they want. And I think to be able to actually purchase things that they really desperately want to actually have part of their day, whether that be a horse and carriage or specific cutlery, etc., that's a really key thing.
Yeah, I mean, I envision lots of couples really taking notice about making sure close family members are there and really make that day personal to them. Throughout the coronavirus, one thing that we have been doing more than ever is touching base with one another. So I just can't wait to see the weddings that will come after that, because I just think it will be so much more personal. And I think we'll see new styles emerging because brides will be owning it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Now, how early on do you recommend couples get in touch with you to have you a special day?
Well, lots of different couples book me for different reasons. So some people want me for the whole thing, and the beauty about the services that I offer is we can dip in and out, and I appreciate that not every single person wants or even needs a wedding planner, and that's totally fine, and I would completely agree with it. If I wasn't a wedding planner, and I was just a random person, would I book a wedding? Probably not, because I don't know whether or not that would be something. As a creative person that I am, I would probably want to create a lot of my things myself and input my own personality. But would I want guidance? Yes. And so we actually, a couple of years, well, literally about 10 years ago, I decided to forge a bride school, which, as awful as it is, poor old bride school, it has taken a bit of a back burner purely because I've been so busy. Mental, poor old thing. But anyway, I've decided to merge it within Amy Lauren Weddings for now, and maybe in the future it's something that will grow again. But it's not gone. It's very much there, but it's very much a delivered service that actually my couples can actually take advantage of now, which is great for them. So we obviously run workshops at the venues that we collaborate with, like at Leadenham, and also run mini workshops at the Priory. And we actually have developed a handbook. So the handbook and spreadsheet management system basically is a wedding planning tool. It's basically a wedding planner, but for that own individual person to kind of customize and create completely for themselves. And for lots of couples, that is exactly what they want and what they need. And if they're booked at a venue that already has in-house planners, that is what I would recommend them to actually have, which can be purchased completely on its own, separate from any of the services that I offer personally. They can actually purchase that bride school, your wedding planned, completely separately. And I think the thing about me is I appreciate that not everybody wants or needs the services that I do, but the key things that I like to specialise in is outdoor structures and unique venues where there is no in-house staff and there is nobody there on the day or guiding them through the process. And I think it's so important to be able to have somebody to lean on, to get in touch with, to be able to be there on the morning, to take care of all of the little things that ultimately would be left to them and their bridesmaids or parents. and for me to be able to look after that is paramount, and it takes so much stress away from the couple and from the bride. And you want to be sipping champagne in your room, having your makeup and hair done, and that's what your mum wants to be doing as well as all your bridesmaids. So the last thing you want to be doing is hoovering up and doing all the final bits after the florist has dropped soil on the floor as she's walked in, and that's not what you want to be doing. And just leave that to us to kind of look after. And that's one of the key things is on the day coordination that I do, and that can be booked from whenever. But I am incredibly busy, and because obviously I've collaborated with a number of different venues as well. There's myself, and then I have Melissa, who's fantastic.
Lovely. Yeah.
There's two of us, so there's potentially I can have two weddings on the same day. And I am just taking on, which top secret, but we'll share it today, is
I know what
taking somebody
I've been guessing what this is. I know there's something bubbling away, and I asked you on a private message, is it such and such? You nearly gave it away, so go on, I won't interrupt it.
No, okay, what you messaged me, no, that's not happening. That's just, no, not that. Something that could happen, but ultimately is something that I don't know about yet. No, there's I've got lots of things going on. It's all been fun and exciting during lockdown, but I am taking on another member of staff, Holly, who has worked, she's done a bit with me already, but Holly is going to be joining me. So we'll be officially launching that, but Holly will be joining me as well. So we're very excited about that.
And you touched a little bit on a question I was going to ask. So when I started this business up, it was all being a bride who couldn't find the right suppliers. Mm-hmm. And I did so much of my wedding myself, and I think my sister's watching, she'll vouch for it. The lead up towards my wedding day was so stressful. I just felt like everything was on my shoulders, even though I'd done all the work and I'd got everything there. I then just panicked about putting all of that into place. And so my face took a hit, everything did. And so if I was getting married again, which I'm not, Mike, he's upstairs, but that means that I could potentially get you into that stressful moment, that lead up and on day coordination. So somebody could have you throughout all of it, or then just pick up towards the end.
Yeah. And we also offer, which is actually very popular, is the kind of one-to-one sessions. So it is literally in those final moments when a bride comes to me and goes, oh my God, I think I've got everything, but I'm not sure, and I just need somebody to just go through it and to tell me that I'm doing everything right, and to almost make a bit of a day plan for them. And that's what we do as well. So that's a real helpful service, actually. And we can do that even over Zoom as well, particularly in today's life. And it doesn't matter whereabouts they live in the country either then. It can just be done very much over Zoom. So financially, it's a great saving too.
Yeah, and there is quite a misconception about wedding planning costing the earth. It absolutely doesn't. You could take control over the budget. A bride could come to you and say, this is my top line, this is what I'd like to achieve, could you do that for me? So it could be as simple as that, couldn't it, Amy?
Absolutely. And couples come to me all the time and say, this is how much money I've got, I don't want to spend any more. I don't want to spend more. I'm just dropping it, it's because I've changed position. I don't want to spend any more. Can you book our wedding can you arrange our wedding for that much? And 9 times out of 10, I'll say yes. And anything's possible. And I think so long as you are flexible and you're prepared to change different aspects of the day that maybe cost more than what would do if they was to go more extravagant, then that's fine as well. And so, yeah, a lot of people come to me and ask me, with a budget and say, can you do this? And I'll say yes, and we'll just literally work to that budget. And so then everything with my spreadsheet monitor, which is part of Bride School Initiative, which people can buy, purchase separately, or that comes as standard with all my packages that I run. There is a budget monitoring in there, so you can literally tell penny by penny how much money you've spent and how much you need to on the day, like how much money you need to pay out for deposits, and also 6 weeks before. So every single thing is completely highlighted. So it's dead easy.
That's brilliant. I think we need that in our day-to-day lives, don't we?
Yeah. Every month I'm literally on my budget monitoring. So that's what inspired me to do it in the first place. But it does really work, and it's really successful for an awful lot of people. So yeah, it's highly recommendable.
It's brilliant. And we talked about the venue there and how important it is to find the right venue. When I was editing the blog post that you did, which is just beautiful, I could hear your voice as I was typing it. So I was very careful not to edit too much on there. But I found really interesting what you recommended for a couple to not spend any longer than in their venue searching. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this actually goes for not just for the venue, but for all suppliers. And obviously, I really wanted to talk a little bit about suppliers, because obviously you have an awful lot of suppliers, and your network is basically, it's very overwhelming when it comes down to actually sourcing suppliers and almost stalking them, I guess, and finding out a little bit more about them. And if you're not careful, each one of them becomes a bit blurred and mishmash into one. So for me, I think it's very key to you look at 3. So on an evening or on a day, you look at 3 suppliers. So 3 venues, for example. Don't research any more than 3, just research 3, but research 3 properly. And write it all down, actually have a good think about what you want from each one of them. And then let your mind kind of divulge that information a little bit. And then on the next day, you can go back and look at another 3. But don't do anything more than 3 for everything, whether that be venue, hairstylist, makeup artist, stylist, anything. Else you do get overwhelmed. It's quite a process to actually actually planning your wedding can be quite emotional, because a lot of people have actually thought about this for their whole lives and have spent a lot of time and effort thinking about how they want to hold their day. And I think you can actually become quite emotional quite very quickly if you're not too careful. So 3 is my golden rule. You look at 3 and then you give yourself a break and digest, and then you can go back and look at another 3. So that's definitely a huge recommendation. And actually, that's something that I've really only specifically specified in the last 18 months, that actually 3 is really enough. That is completely enough.
And, the one big thing that happened to me whilst I was planning my wedding is I had a few sort of dream suppliers that I really wanted to work with. I had my absolute heart set on it, and I got married in December, so I was really quite blasé. I was like, oh, they'll be free then. And the one thing that you learn quite quickly is it doesn't matter what time of the year. If you have got a dream supplier, you start talking to them straight away. I ended up so disappointed when I didn't get a couple of them, and it sends you into a panic, because you then think, well, who else can do that? Who else matches their style? And that's where a wedding planner can really help, isn't it? Because you just have such a wide variety of suppliers that you are constantly researching about.
And that's something that I think is so important, is if you really do have, if you're a bride or a groom who's planning their day and they have a key supplier that they actually want to work with, is to get in touch with them sooner rather than later, to actually make sure that you book them in ASAP. But one thing about me is I do offer supply sourcing as well, exactly for what you've said. A lot of people come and go, oh my God, I don't know where to start or who to go to. And I have a lot of couples that live away, that maybe live in London or Manchester, and they're getting married at home, and they're getting married in Lincolnshire, and they have no idea where to start. I don't do commission with anybody, and like a lot of people have said over the years, oh, you're missing a trick, Amy. I'm like, no, because for me it's all about actually matching that individual person to the right supplier, and to the suppliers that's going to best benefit them as a couple and actually enhance their special day. And for me, that's so important. And I know I say it quite a lot, but it's something that I really I know not everyone does that, but for me that is something that I'm really very proud and focused on, is that I don't do commission. I work specifically with the couple in mind, and source the supplies that best match. And I think that's what you've got to do. And I think everybody has their favourite suppliers when you're looking and researching into getting married, and it's fine if they're double booked. That's okay. You can match somebody else that's going to be just as good, or even potentially even better. And but it's just where to look and who to go to, and it's definitely best to get advice. And I think obviously I do have a lot of connections and contacts with an awful lot of different people. But then I do think, obviously, with Lincolnshire Weddings, it's a fantastic network for you to actually be able to log on to, and obviously find all the recommended suppliers who are working connectively as well to be able to produce some incredible days.
And this is something that I'm really proud of you mentioning, my business there, because as we all do in business, we go and see experts and they try and give you advice on your business. And the one thing that I have been, and left some meetings just really frustrated about, is when they've said to me, your business, your style, the way that you write, the way it looks, it's high end. It's, you know, you need to be focusing on high end this, high end that. And I'm there going, no, Lincolnshire Weddings is for every single bride, every single size, every single colour, and every single budget. I was a bride that was right in the middle. So I had a budget where I could have spent a lot of money on, like the venue, the dress. I really prioritised things. And then there were others that I really wanted to try and support local businesses and find businesses that starting out and had amazing ideas. And they're the businesses that I couldn't find. I had these mainstream advertisements coming my way, and I was thinking, but I can't afford all of you. So it was trying to create a business and a database that really had everything for everyone, from the high-end bride right down to the bride that just wants everything in the world to be married, and the budget, and this is what they have to work with, and every single step. I get so excited when somebody inquires about things that is brand new and has a completely different quirky style, and I think, yes.
Absolutely. And I just think it's so important to be able to accommodate for every budget, and that's one thing that I am really very strongly about. I mean, to be fair, when I got married, I hardly spent anything in comparison to like the couples that I work with. Honestly, it's literally ridiculous. And I think it's so important to be able to match yourself and your style into a category that has a relatively low budget up to a high budget, and that's really important. And I think particularly for the area of Lincolnshire, there's such vast arrays of people's individual budgets that they can afford, and the supplies out there are fantastic and do actually cater for it. And that was one of the main reasons why obviously I wrote the handbook as well, is so that could capture that market that obviously, you know, probably couldn't afford a wedding planner, but they still wanted to have that wedding planner inverted comma, but one that would actually be highlighted and very much engrossed to them, and that's what your wedding plan's all about. And I think obviously Lincolnshire Weddings is fantastic, and it does offer an array of different styles and budgets for everybody, to cater for all.
Yeah, thank you. That's made me so happy you saying that, because that is just everything about my business, and spending all these years now, which can be sharing a supplier's work, really knowing how much amazing effort they put in, sometimes every single day, into putting their business out there. It feels like such a huge responsibility to then work just as hard as they do for that. So if that's what comes across, that's brilliant. Thank you. And bride school, and I know you said that you put that to one side, but bride school really works well with Lincolnshire Weddings, because taking all what you've learned over the years to so I'm excited that you've mentioned about doing events with your venue. So you have got Leadenham Weddings, Leadenham Estate. Tell us about that venue, because it's new, isn't it?
It is new. It is new, and it's beautiful. It's obviously a Georgian 2-star listed building. It has an array of different areas and opportunities for couples to actually get married in. Obviously, the house caters for 50 dining and then 80 for dancing. Outside, endless opportunities. We have collaborated with the TP Tribe, which obviously offer TPs. Cheltenham Yurt has the most amazing yurts I adore, and with Every Occasion, who offers petals marquee, the clay span, and the traditional pole marquee too. We've got our Palladium Stables, which is
this is what my head spins with excitement about these stables, and not only because I love horses, but yeah.
Yeah, they are beautiful, and basically they are at the moment they're undergoing full restoration and completely renovation. The actual barn at the back of the actual coach house is going to be a purpose-built venue catering up to 400 guests, with its own private south-facing garden. The bridal suite, which will be above the coach house, looking over the private garden, is going to be beautiful. It's going to be a stretch of the whole coach house, so we're going to have really exciting things going on up there, with a bedroom and a seating area, potentially a balcony with a hot tub. I'm very excited, and definitely I've said to William that I'll have to just go and test out the accommodation just in case.
Yeah, I think it might need a weekend trial for all the Lincolnshire Wedding members. You know, that would be great.
And which is underneath with the restaurant, and we are there'll be boutiques and shops that will be in the rest of the stables on the ground floor, with rooms above, and we'll have a coffee roasting shop, shall we say, selling roasted coffee that will be from Leadenham Estate, which I'm very excited about, which is great. I do love coffee, and I know it's William's go-to, so he was like, we're definitely having a coffee roasting. So
great impersonation there.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that. Just the smell of it will be incredible. So it's going to be very exciting. There's a lot of work to do, but also people will be able to come in to the actual quad, to the stable square, and actually be able to take it over for outdoor drinks and canapes. So it'll be fun. It'll be really nice. It'll be brilliant. And so Leadenham is fantastic, and there's an abundance of opportunities. We've got the lakes. We've got 4 lakes down to the south gardens, and we've got the beautiful lake, which you'll see on some photos. We've done 3 different shoots. We've done 3 different social shoots.
You've been so
And we've got 3 shoots which we are they've been submitted to blogs, so we are on top secret lockdown with them, but they'll be coming out soon. And yeah, they're very different, each one of them, but yeah, it's a bit of a photographer's dream, shall we say.
It definitely is. And you know what's performing is when I see these shoots. Now, you're all really sneaky, my members. Now, I know my members ever so well. If you can imagine sharing their work every week, you get chatting in between, but you're also sneaky. There'll be a photo shoot that comes up, and I'm like, there's about 5 or 6 members on there. And it's just brilliant to see you all collaborating and knowing that these conversations are happening, and how well you all, you know, give each other such a big support network. And yeah, there's been a few photo shoots there with members, so it's exciting. I can't wait to see it in its full glory, because we've had snippets, haven't we?
We've had stories that have come through which I'm very excited about. Yeah, we have done a number of different. Lockdown for me has been mental, but I kind of needed it, actually. I would have fit it all in.
I just took to alcohol that I don't normally drink, and lots of food, so I'm in an oversized top for this.
It's fine, Lisa.
So we talked about letting a mistake. Oh, are you there? Yes, you're there. We went a bit crazy there on my side. You went off in all different types of directions. So we talked about letting and weddings, letting a mistake, but you also have a lovely venue, which is my hunting ground, really, which is Louth, with the Priory. Tell us a bit about that.
I love the Priory, and actually the Priory has a special place in my heart because obviously the initiative, the Serendipity Initiative, is basically all about helping people who have maybe got additional needs or mental health problems actually kind of back into work, and actually giving them the empowerment to be able to really take advantage of their, you know, being able to kind of be recognised and within a working environment. And for me, that is paramount. My nephew, he has autism. He's only 5, so a lot of things may change in his future. However, Paul is an incredible person, and he's really empowered me to just be, yeah. I am a trustee of the initiative, which I'm really proud to say. And obviously we relaunched the Priory as Serendipity Weddings and Events at the Priory to fall in line with the initiative. It's the most quirky and unique venue. It's quite gothic,
isn't it?
It's almost back to the front is, I think, what you said. Sorry, I missed you there, but yeah, it's kind of back to front in its design, and the front of the building almost overlooks the gardens, which is beautiful. It's got lots of potential for outdoor events, and we've just collaborated with the TP tribe to offer TP weddings on the lawn, which is very exciting. Inside the house, we've been completely redecorated and renovated at the moment, so it's really been stripped back down to the bare bones of the building, which I'm very excited to see. And yeah, obviously we've got our gym room, which is incredibly exciting, basically. And we love it. And we've obviously teamed up with Pingin, possibly Distilleries, with Amy over at Pingin. Yeah, everyone's called Amy, appears in the world as well.
Oh, Amy.
Everyone's don't forget, call them Amy, they'll answer. Yeah, and she's lovely. And obviously we've got, yeah, it's fantastic. And there's lots of accommodation there as well. And we've got 4 different ceremony spaces licensed, one of which is outdoors by the lake, which is in the summer house, which is beautiful. Absolutely. So you can have an intimate service, just you two with the registrar and your witnesses, and then everybody else stands around the lake, and it's so gorgeous, so gorgeous. So yeah, we love it.
And you just get so giddy talking about these venues that you work for, and I can only imagine what you're like with couples. I know that anybody who visits my website and stumbles across you, they're in such safe hands, Amy.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. That's really kind. Well, like I say, I do try and sometimes go. I think sometimes they must get very fed up with me just checking in on them. Are you all right during this process? But yeah, no, it's important to me because it is more than just a job. This is a life choice that I really love every single thing about weddings and about the couples and about romance and just all of it really. So it's so important to me to make sure that everybody is happy and is yeah, just feels really like they know what they're doing and they're in good hands, and that is and all that I can ever ask for.
And Amy's just skirted over the fact that she actually came up with some really good ideas for her couple in lockdown that may have sadly had to postpone their wedding, how they could celebrate that day by, having a meal at home, a picnic in the garden. You came up with some amazing ideas to try and help those couples that were in your hands to still make a special occasion of it. That's how special Amy is to have on board on your wedding day. She just goes that extra mile for them.
Oh, thanks, Lisa. I'm so emotional. Describe it. Yeah. No, and it's very important to me. And yeah, it is. It is important to make sure that people are well looked after. And particularly during this time, it's just obviously, but it's not just the couples, it's also the suppliers as well. I think all the suppliers in the whole industry do such an incredible job, and I think the work that they've done during the last 6 months has been incredible, and they've all gone a massive above and beyond. And I take my hat off to so many of the suppliers that have actually been in this, that have been involved in the industry, and for me it's paramount that that they actually are just really recognised as being fantastic.
Yeah. It's so important for any couples who have took the time to this live, and I've seen all the amazing comments there. We've been chatting away, but I'm looking down, and I really do appreciate all of them. But for those couples that are watching and we're slowly seeing us come out of lockdown, I would love you all to remember those suppliers that have gone that extra mile whilst in lockdown, down to Healing Manor, who has helped feed the vulnerable. Pingen did some amazing things. Hand sanitizer that are in our co-ops when we were desperate for hand sanitizer. So just remember though, and everything gets back to normal and you're thinking of businesses, think local, think of those businesses that they genuinely risked their health to put them out there for you guys. It's been for my business, Amy will know this from our meetings, but my brain is always full of ideas, and I can never have coffee too much, or I get quite hyperactive when I start talking about my ideas.
You have to get yourself to our coffee just when it's up and running.
Be up on the ceiling if I do that. But it's really sort of, I've had to stop still with a lot of my business ideas. So it's meant that suppliers who have known of some things that are going on in the background and where my business was progressing. For me personally, I just wanted to do a big shout out to those suppliers who have, stuck around when times have been tough, and are there ready and waiting for those big ideas that are just around the corner when we're allowed. Have you got anything else you want to add?
Oh, well, I don't know. Obviously, I feel like I've talked a lot about suppliers and the importance of finding the right supplier to actually to complement your day. The only thing that I will say is make sure you get wedding insurance to every single person who is actually about to book. Very important. And also is to actually research into your suppliers. So when you actually do book, is to just make sure you see your suppliers' terms and conditions when it comes down to deposits and final payments, to ensure pandemics and cancellation things are all highlighted in there, which is more of a, obviously, a couple focused conversation. I'm just going to read off some of the things from out of my book because I'm so prepared. Is also to make sure if you've got if you're booking a caterer or a photographer, hair and makeup artist, is to make sure you get a trial. So important. A lot of people don't actually have a trial, and I highly recommend when my couples are actually, yeah, you need a trial, because the first time you might not fall in love with exactly what you're going to have, and that's fine if it's in a trial, but if it's on the day of your wedding, it's not very good. So always have a trial, and always to remain constant communication with them, and kind of address a little bit about when you expect to hear from them as well, because a lot of people worry, and I guess this is more of a supplier advice, is I actually send out, I don't do Christmas cards, I do New Year cards, and in my New Year cards, I write when I'm next going to be in touch with them as a couple, because New Year comes, and as soon as the New Year comes, all the brides that are that year panic and think, oh my God, we're getting married this year. And they get in touch with all their suppliers. And for a lot of suppliers, obviously, who are very busy, they're just like, no, don't worry, don't panic, and it's X, Y, and Z, that's when you're going to get contacted. So if you beat the gun, and actually I do New Year cards, and I highlight in my New Year card when I'm going to get in touch with them, and highlight what they need to do between now and then, so it gives the couple more information about what they need to do, and kind of feeds them that, because a lot of the time wedding planning goes in fits and starts. Like at the beginning it's very busy, in the middle it's kind of a bit like, what are we even doing, which for a lot of couples go, oh my God, I don't even know what to do, and then at the end it's very busy. So it highlights that middle section of what they need to do, what they need to make sure. So yeah, so don't panic when it gets to New Year. To kind of do that is a good idea. Also find out about helps on the day. Sorry, Lisa, you talking.
Saying about New Year, 2021 New Year, I mean, that must be more than ever. Don't panic in the new year, because everybody's going to be raring to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got there's been a few, I mean, I do numerous different things in the run up to people's days, and ever changing, I have to say, ever changing on what sort of things that I do. I've just been in touch with, they're not actually part of your membership, but I'll do a little shout out anyway. It's Pumpkin Wedding Designs. I'm sure it's Pumpkin, somebody, sorry, Pumpkins, I know it's Pumpkins. And they're over at Boston. Beautiful. Honestly, their stationery is beautiful, and yeah, so I've just I'm actually going to be having some invites created that are through Pumpkins. Now, I mean, I do handwritten cards at New Year, which is great, but I'm actually going to go for the pumpkin ones for when people initially book, and then I'll do my handwritten ones in the new year. So yeah, it's just about streamlining and making sure that people feel safe and secure, and I think that's the most important thing. And if you have questions to ask your supplier, is to make sure you write it down before you send the email or the message, is to just see if there's anything that you can maybe omit, like if there's any duplication, or if instead of sending 3 emails you just send 1 email, just so that you can make sure that you have the exact answers that you want. So I just think that's a really good tip, and also to get your own
and
wedding.
just being mindful that those suppliers at the moment, that they are going through such a tough time, and they've tried their utmost to reschedule people into 2021, but ultimately means that new business is so far away for them now. New business will be coming up a year after that, so just be kind. And just be mindful that they're there for you, and they'll work their absolute hardest for you.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, all the suppliers that I'm involved with, honestly, I can't shout and rave about them enough of how amazing each one of them has been during this time. And all of them, I mean, literally 2021 is just going to be horrendously busy for everybody, because I think lots of people have got 2 weddings even on one weekend. They've even double booked. They're having to take on extra members of staff. I know myself, I am, and which is great. It's great development for my business. But yeah, it's just making sure that each one of our couples is accommodated for. But I would highly recommend that one of my top tips, which is actually on the blog, is to create a wedding email, which is something that I definitely think is what couples should do, because you don't lose your messages and you have an easy trail. Everything gets kept together. You can both access it as couples, and and so if you ever need any questions, it doesn't get missed in work emails and things as well.
Absolutely. It actually helps entering into the junk folder and you never seeing them. If you're going on there, always check your junk folder. If you're getting married, check your folder.
Definitely. But yeah, no, I think it's a very exciting, we've got lots of exciting things to come for the whole industry. I think there's big changes that are going to be made and that are happening right now, but ultimately changes that I actually think going forward in the future are probably going to be changes for the best. And I think it's going to be a better work-life balance for people, not just for suppliers, but also for people who are getting married as well. And I think they'll be able to absolutely adore each and every moment of their day, even more than what they would have.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting seeing those really personalised weddings coming through. Now, I'm going to put this to my first Instagram team, so people will be able to watch this, but also to linksweddings.com and go on to our wedding blog. Amy has done the most beautifully written blog that I've had the privilege of being able to put together. Made it an absolute dream, but there's so many hints and tips in there, and it really gives you such a flavour as to what Amy offers her bride. So I highly recommend you having a good read through. There's some beautiful images on there from TTS Media. The World's had a few appearances on there as well, so go check it out. Have a search around the website as well. It's brand new. We've had a lot of work on that website. The design's me, and I've also had Laser Red go on and do the technical CEO and everything. That's boring, but yes, there's a lot of work. Go and check it out.
It looks amazing, so well done to you.
Thank you, and thank you for all the comments. I'm so sorry that we didn't have chance to reply to them. They're really much appreciated. And if you think that this is a success, let me know, because I will do more. Now, my first Instagram live that nobody peer pressured me into doing at all. So yeah, let us know what you think, and thank you so much for joining us. We'll let Amy go now. She can have a swift drink.
It's fine. No, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye, Amy.